Hello, hello. It's Sunday. I'm CJ. This week we're talking about hb2 and bathroom bills and in general the continuing theme of what the fuck is going on in the world. Piggy's just summed up how I feel about these bathroom bills adequately. The argument behind these bathroom bills seems to be they, because we are now an us and them, don't want their children to encounter me in a bathroom because if they do, then their child might... And don't know what the end of that sentence is. And I don't know what the end of that sentence is. And actually, with a lot of this stuff about the bathroom bills, I have wondered if I'm peeing wrong. Because unless I've been using a bathroom wrong, like I go into a bathroom, I go into a cubicle, I do my thing, I come out, I wash my hands, and I leave. And there isn't an intimate encounter that takes place. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing that really throws me, because it is an intimate experience, but that is between me and the cubicle. God, the phrasing of all of this is gross. It isn't an encounter that I have with the person who's next to me. That throws me because this narrative is about something that I've never experienced when using a restroom. And I'm 30, I've been using a restroom for a while now. First of all, maybe maybe I'm just doing it wrong. In which case, please tell me, because I'm dedicated to lifelong learning. Then of course it gets more sinister because you have this notion then of sort of these cisgendered heterosexual old white men who keep coming out with things like, well, I don't want my children in a restroom with a man in a dress. Which, like, how to even unpack how problematic that statement is. Not problematic, how fucked up that statement is. The same with changing rooms, actually. How to unpack that statement when it's like, well, if I knew all I had to do was wear a dress, then I would have worn a dress and perved on women in changing rooms, which seems to have been the general gist, but has certainly been said by more than one person. And the fact it's been said by one person out loud where other people with ears have to hear it is terrible. But the fact that it's said by more than one person, particularly when they're elected representatives, is fucking terrifying. And this linking us with a sort of sexual perversion, which is just bizarre. And actually it just says way more about the person that is saying it, really. Because, like, the idea that someone thinks it's okay to admit that they'd be a pervert if they thought they could get away with it is gross. People are using trans as like this way to talk about the darker sides of their own personalities when they are cisgendered and they don't understand what it means to be trans at all. This is also like not a trans issue, it's an everybody issue. And it's an everybody issue because in states where people have started to get really sort of vigilante about it, a lot of the people I suspect that are being affected by it aren't trans people at all. This is the thing about being trans that really fucks up cisgendered people. They don't know when somebody's transgender because it turns out that you can't fucking tell. What people are then doing is that they are crossing that line into policing people's gender expression and expression, identity expression. This is where I get really, really heated up about it because I have no problems with anybody having a binary expression of their own gender identity because that's personal and that's on the inside. But to then genderize, I suppose, other things in the world, clothing, colours, behaviours, all of this kind of thing is ridiculous. There is this conception somehow that you can tell and that comes kind of back to this idea of like a trans person as a deviant, of like we're trying to get away with something. Like we're trying to really convince somebody of something, which is harrowing. The main point about the bathroom bills is that the bathroom bills want to take the law away from people who need it. The people at risk of violence in bathrooms are trans people. Overwhelmingly, if we look at the statistics, trans women are far more likely to be subjected to violence. Period. I mean, that's just in life. And the idea that you have to go through your life with that as being a sort of understood, everyone goes, oh, well, that's a statistic, is like terrifying and sick-making. There is no... hb2, the bathroom bills, any state that's tried to bring it in, there is no evidence that trans people have ever subjected people to things. I don't know, again, like I don't know what the things are. We talk about it like it's the boogeyman. Like what is it gonna... I assume sexual assault is what people think is gonna happen. And it appears to be that paedophilia is the list, right? And I am absolutely on board with protect all children. I was gonna say like as a survivor of abuse, but like it's not even that. It's like just as a decent fucking human being. Yeah, protect the kids. I mean protect trans kids and protect gender non-conforming kids and protect kids who are just being kids. And stop this kind of unnecessary genderizing and attacking, because it's a little bit like the argument that people used to have about how do I tell my kids that gay people exist in the world. If there is a question, and your child may have a question, because my God, children have a lot of questions. Your kids may have questions if they encounter a trans person who doesn't have the privilege of passing or whatever in a restroom. These are things that happen. You know, kids have questions about stuff. And when the kids that I looked after were younger, the 8-year-old in particular could exhaust me in a day. And the questions would go from, you know, where does evil come from, right through to like, what is it that makes a flower red? So there is a spectrum, and to be fair to an 8-year-old, typically they're all weighted about the same. So you know, why is there a death penalty and why can't I eat my shoelaces has the same level of importance. Kids aren't hysterical, adults are hysterical, and kids pick up from what's around them. So if your kids are deeply concerned about what's going on with trans people, and or they might encounter a trans person, like, let's not bullshit about this. You've done that to your kid. You've given that attitude to that kid. If your child is concerned and panics in a bathroom because, oh my god, they're going to be assaulted by a trans person, that's because you've told them that. And I think we need to start taking ownership of stuff and go, like, kids don't just come up with this stuff off the top of their heads. And yeah, you absolutely need to protect children. Children should be protected at all costs. But like I said, that means all children, and that means every single child, and that means doing it in a way that protects their childness and it protects their humanness, and it isn't to do with protecting whatever gender characteristics you want to force upon a child. Yeah, those are just some of my objections to it, I suppose, and there is no redeeming characteristic. I think you just have to turn around and face the fact that if you support bathroom bills, either you need to tell me what you think goes on in a bathroom that someone should be protected from, or that's fine, but I do think that you should preface with, the reason that I support bathroom bills is because I'm a bigot. And I'm kind of in that, like, I've massively over the past few weeks entered a sort of take no fucks zone, where I do think, you know, if you want to say these things, if you want to talk about this stuff, absolutely talk about it, but do preface it with, I am a bigot, this is how I feel, and then I won't bother engaging in conversation with you, and then you don't have to bother engaging in conversation with me, because we sort of know where each other stands then, don't we? So let's not call them bathroom bills, let's call them bigot bills. I think that would work. I think that would be a much fairer way to represent it. That's your rant for this week. And I will speak to you next Sunday.